It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. I welcome the podcast where me, the Captain, talks about movies, TV, sports, flicks, anything you can see the tuber screen. I like to get on here, give my unique perspective, because after 47 years of being on planet Earth, I've developed a unique perspective about these movies, TV, sports, and flicks, and I like to get in and tell about it. Because just maybe you care. And according to the stats, it looks like you do care. I want to give a big shout out to France. Got some plays over in France this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Dodoraba. In France, I saw UFC France this past weekend. And ladies and gentlemen, you guys have some very bad, tough, savage MMA fighters over there. I was watching the fights and these people were just killing the game, bro. They were putting in work. They were strong, powerful, durable. You're some bad dudes, bad ladies, man. You got some very nice MMA fighters over there. Very cool. I loved it. So that's awesome. Glad to see that. And just FYI, back in the day, went to school to be a radio DJ, but never got a job. I think I never got a job because I just didn't have the power. If I would have had a little more power, then maybe that would enable me to become a radio DJ. But it didn't. It allowed me to become the greatest podcaster in the Matrix. Something to debate. Might be true, might not be true. But I said it on the internet. So it's got to be true, right? Because every on the internet is facts, not facts, true, false, propaganda, fake news, the Matrix. Speakers, headphones, earbuds, stereo. I don't know. I didn't make the internet. Ask the people that made the internet. So when you're lying, just be aware, just watch out. Anyways, I could ramble you all day, but it won't. Let's get right into the podcast. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes I rap. A long while back, I rapped again. I dropped a song called My Every Move. It's a song with me rapping in my unique experimental spoken word style over ambient synthy beats. And when you hear this track, I guarantee you've never heard anything like it in your life. It is a very unique soundscape. Now, when I do my music, every song I do, I feel is like art. I think of it as like art. This is a craft. So I construct a sonic landscape and I put a very unique spin on it. So when you hear my tracks, a lot of them do not sound similar at all because it's just very abstract, spacey, unique word delivery, unique sonic sounds. So go check out My Every Move. I'll put the link below. And I promise you've not heard nothing like it. It's very unique. Nobody's doing this. I'll put the link below. Check it out now. Let's get on with the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. And it's a nice day out. It's beautiful. I just got some groceries. I mowed the lawn. I was outside getting that vitamin D. I drank some water, right? A little bit of internet research. And now here I am podcasting. Beautiful day in the neighborhood like Mr. Rogers says. And I hope your day is beautiful as well. But now it is time to drop the podcast. And today, I'm going back to the world of the great game, The Wilderness of Mirrors, Spy vs. Spy. This week, I got to see the conclusion of the epic show called Special Ops Lioness. But before I get into that, a couple things. First of all, there will be spoilers. And second of all, I do own some shares in the parent company of Paramount Plus. I just want to be clear and transparent to let you know, now that I told you that, let's get into Special Ops Lioness. Gone is the illusion of order. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to start off with this. This series, Special Ops Lioness, has been absolutely fantastic. Now, I've watched a lot of spy shows over the years, and after going down that rabbit hole for so long, my most favorite show in the spy genre is The Bureau. And I've always wondered, will there be a show that comes up that can live up to the greatness of The Bureau? Because The Bureau is absolutely fantastic. I love it. I talk about many times. It's just a great ride. And so far, Special Ops Lioness is giving the Bureau a run for its money. I know it's only one season in, but just this one season has been absolutely fantastic. I love the genre of spy. I love going down that rabbit hole. I love seeing that world in the cinema and the TV screen. And this one just does a fantastic job. Like I said, it's right up there with the Bureau. And that's a strong statement for me to say. Because if you've been with this podcast for a while, you know how much I love the Bureau. I talked about the Bureau so much because I loved it so much. And Special Ops Lioness is right up there with that to me. And I've seen absolutely tons of spy shows, spy TV series, spy whatever, read books, watched podcasts. I've been down the rabbit hole for like a decade plus. And this one is up at the top. It's that good. I've never seen any of the work that the guy that created the show did, but now I understand why everybody watches his stuff. Because if everything he does is like this, I get it. It's absolutely magnificent. And if you've not seen it, go check it out. Now, let me talk about the episode. In this episode, we get to see would Cruz do what she was supposed to do? I've been talking about this all season. Cruz's mind has been a mush. It's been conflicted. She's got all these feelings and thoughts and emotions. She was breaking down. She was crying. She was losing it. She was losing sight of the prize. She couldn't stay focused. She was all over the place. Her brain was just a big blender. And she sat down with Joe, and Joe gave her a pep talk a couple times and got her back on track. But when it came time to handle the business, would Cruz handle the business? That was a question that came up the last couple times because she kind of fell in love with the Mark. Right? Let's be real. There's feelings, there's emotions, or love. I don't know what is love. Maybe love, something else. I don't know. But something was going on there. And then would she be able to do what is necessary? And I said last episode, this lady's a Marine. And what I know about Marines is they do what they got to do and they take care of the business. They finish the job. They finish the mission. They handle the business. And I said because she's a Marine, she's going to handle that business. Now, when it came time for Cruz to handle the business, the question got answered, would she do it? And in the scene, when she finally meets up with the target, the Mark's dad, I forgot his name, but she finally meets up with the father of the lady she's been hooking up with. And they're having conversation, they're talking, and it's funny. She's funny. She's having good banter. She's just hanging out, being a regular human being. Conversating, talk about this ice cream, a little water, just like a regular conversation that you might have with somebody. Yeah, like regular people. And all of a sudden, the Mark's future husband runs in there and yells about Cruz that she's a Marine. And right in that moment, when Cruz heard that, she switched from happy, friendly, casual banter to an absolute savage machine, and she handled the business like the Marine she is. She took care of the business quickly. First, she took out the soon-to-be husband, and then she took out the target, the dad, in one quick swoop of savageness. She took them all out. Her Marine training kicked in, and she handled the business like boom, 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 like the warrior she is. And then on instinct, she got out of there and ran and got extracted. But up to that point, it was just casual banter. It was like, talking to her friend, Bud, Mark, casually talking about the feelings, meet with the dad, having casual conversations. But then she turned it on, she switched it on, and she handled the business. And I said last episode, and I predicted, and I said she will handle that business because she's a Marine, and that's what they do. And she did that, right? I have a strong feeling that in the reality of the real world, this is how it would go down. Because like I said, I heard a lot about Marines. I've seen the training. I read things about them. And from what I've read and heard, this is how they get down. And I feel the TV show is probably true to life. It don't matter what's going down. It don't matter how deep cover she is. It don't matter if she kind of got lost in a monkey mind. It don't matter. When it's time to handle business, she did the business. So a lesson that we can learn from this episode is when you're out there living your life, doing whatever you're doing, living however you're living, and things need to be done. Now, we're not catching terrorists. And maybe you are. Maybe you have a job as catching terrorists, but I suspect you're not. We're not doing that. We're just living regular lives, a lot of us, doing regular stuff. But sometimes things got to get done. And sometimes your mind will be a mess. Sometimes there's so many things happening and you can't get focused. And this is happening, this happened. You have kids, you have a wife, you're married, whatever, you got a job, you got this, all these things are going down. Right? All this chaos in the mind, monkey mind creeping in. I've experienced it many times, but it's time to do the business and take care of things that got to get done, whatever they may be. They're going to be different for everybody, but a lot of us have things that we got to take care of. And a lot of us have things going down while that's happening, right? And then can you push through it and be like Cruz and finish your mission and take care of your business? Now, I've experienced this many, I can't even count the amount of times I've experienced this, right? You're going to be tired. You're going to be distracted. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be overwhelmed. No sleep. Haven't ate. Walking on your feet all day or sitting in a chair all day or, being cramped in positions you don't want to be in, being stressed, being too many people talking to you, too many human beings in one space. There'll be countless circumstances and stimuli coming at you, right? And then you're going to go through all that wherever you may be with your job, personal life, whatever. And then when it's time to take care of what you got to take care of, well, you do it. I believe that's what separates a lot of the elite people, the high performers, from the ones that don't. Because when they go through all that, they won't do what they got to get done, right? I was listening to some podcasts a while back, and they're saying when, people go to do things like I'm doing this podcast or, do exercise or whatever you're getting into. It's easy to start these things. It's easy to start, right? But then can you go a long period of time of doing these things day in and day out, despite what goes on? Now, I was talking to a buddy of mine this last week, and she was telling me that, she had a late night. She didn't get home till late or something, right? And she got no sleep. And she got up in the morning and she's like, you know what though? I still did my exercises, right? Because she does her exercise in the morning. And despite having no sleep, late night, busy all day with kids and husband and all that, got up the next morning and did the work, right? This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Can you do that, right? She's not fighting terrorists. She's not out there doing all that. But in the daily battles of life, when you got this all going on, it is time to do what you're supposed to be doing or what you want to be doing, well, you do it. And that's the lesson we can get from this show. Be like Cruz. Apply that Cruz mentality, Marine mentality to your daily life. And if you do that, your life will probably get a lot better, right? We can do that. I practice that regularly. My buddy practices that regularly. A lot of people I know practice that. I know a lot of us do. And if you found this podcast, I have a strong feeling you're in that mindset. Like I say all the time, this podcast is about leveling up, improving, doing better, right? Flourishing, right? Exploring ideas, right? This is what it's about. So let's go get it. Let's change our life. Let's make the habits and choices. Let's be like Cruz in Special Ops Lioness. Let's complete the mission. Let's get it done, right? Let's do that. So one other thing I want to get into before I sign off is that the amount of emotional stress and duress that someone must feel going through this. Going through this whole process, whether you're Joe the handler and what she's going through, or whether you're Cruz who's deeply embedded, whether you're the kinetic guys, that are doing the exfiltration, just all the people in general that are dealing with these high stakes situations and how the stress emotionally must weigh on their mind. Because I'm just walking my regular day life, right? My regular life of being a regular, common, regular, human being. And there's moments where I'm feeling stressed and whatever, right? And a lot of the things I'm doing, the stakes aren't that high like in this show. Like these are some very high stakes. And like I said in the previous podcast, there are actual human beings' jobs to do these jobs you see in this show. This is based on real stuff. There's real people we walk around. You might see them every day. Maybe you see them at the coffee shop. Maybe you know some. I don't know. Maybe you walk by some. But there's people actually living this, right? And just imagine the amount of stress and toll it takes on the families and the people that are doing this. Like I said in the previous podcast, all those first responders, all the people that walk this life to keep us safe, a lot of those security jobs, a lot of like the first responders, EMTs, like so many times. I mean, there's just a higher level of stress than ordinary human beings have. And they go out there and they do this to keep us Americans, and not just Americans across the globe. You guys have these same people. Just keep your country, your people safe, our people safe. These people are out there doing this hard work, right? Emotionally stressed. Now, there's a lot of physical stress, it looks like, but the emotional stress, the mental stress, they can carry on for years. And these people go out there putting on the line all the time. So while I was aware of it already, I feel this show really highlights it and shows that more than I've seen in some of the other shows I watched. And I just want to say that I appreciate all the people on planet Earth that walk that path and live this life and deal with a high stress job. Because I just can't even imagine what that's even like. And doing it on a regular basis for like years. A lot of people that I follow and listen to and read books are in this field for like, we're talking decades. Decades of dealing with this kind of mental stress day in and day out. Just the stakes are so high, I just can't even imagine what that's like. I just want to close it up by saying, we appreciate you. I know you guys out in cyberspace probably do as well, I'm sure you guys say, yeah, bro, we get that. We know it's stress. We appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. If any of you guys listen to this, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Right? Very appreciate that. So anyways, Special Ops Lioness, great, fantastic show. I loved it. I love the world of espionage. I feel this did a good job of portraying that. Very cool. So yeah, so hope we get to season 2. And this concludes the podcast. And until next time, we'll see. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. Until next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks Flicks.